What's up, everybody? Welcome on into the Warchant Report, powered by Cummins. Cummins Lifestyle is all one word. Give it a follow on Instagram. Shout out to everybody who joined us in South Bend, Indiana. Ira and myself stopped by the tailgate. It was good times. They fed us well. They showed us all the awesome things they're doing on their RV. You can do the same with your RV, or maybe just your adventurous lifestyle, the spirit that you have within you. Follow them on Instagram. Cummins Lifestyle. It's all one word. Noles behind this whole thing, keeping us rolling here on the Warchant Report. Ira Schofel, Corey Clark join me. They are the pillars of the Warchant.com subscriber experience. So come join us, get all the latest insight, breaking news, columns from Corey, Ira's great insight for only $1 for a week, and then 50% off for the entire year. Ho, ho, ho. Season's greetings, everybody. Hooking you up over at Warchant.com. All right, boys, let's get to it. Charleston Southern game. Not a lot to break down on the field. We'll get to that maybe later on in the show. There's great reporting going on over at Warchant.com right now. Ira Schofel on the Tribal Council, our own Gene Williams, the Godfather, some might dub it, with some reporting about perhaps a top candidate having emerged in this offensive coordinator hunt. I wanted to ask you this. It feels, I don't know if it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing where he's moved quickly, it seems like, right? He's identified a lead prime candidate. Is that a good sign that he seemingly is kind of gravitating towards a guy that he knows in his orbit? Or would it have been better off to maybe have had this thing go for maybe a few more days or a week as he compiled more names and maybe performed more interviews?
I mean, I don't think it's surprising at all. I mean, I don't know whether that's good or bad. I think it's very normal. I think Mike Norvell probably since, I don't know, week 4 or 5 of this season realized that he was going to have to make changes on his coaching staff. I think he's been thinking about it all season. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he started making phone calls, a month ago, 3 weeks ago, finding out who might be interested, who might work out for him. And if you're going to have those conversations, it makes sense to start with people you're comfortable with, you think could really help your situation. And so, Brendan Marion makes a lot of sense. He worked with him before. He coached him when he was in college at Tulsa. So that relationship goes way back. Plus, Brendan Marion's had a lot of success. He reveres Mike Norvell. And so it just feels like a perfect fit if it works. Now, I'm sure there will be critics, but I think that would be the case with anybody because some people will want him to go outside of his tree, get somebody totally with new, fresh ideas. I get that, but I think there's pros and cons each way.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Corey? I mean, is this like kind of the happy medium where if it is going to be a guy like Brendan Marion, you would think a guy with that kind of resume is not going to come here just to simply hold a clipboard. He's going to call his offense. But then it is, it wasn't this big, huge, like we talked about earlier in the shows this week on Wake Up Warchant. Isn't a guy from a completely power to experience.
Yeah, whether it's Brendan Marion or not, the fact that the names that we're hearing, I don't think they're names that what gives me hope. It's probably not fair. It's one bad year, but it's such a bad year offensively. It's literally historically bad that it gives me hope that there's no way any of these coaches that we've been hearing about would even entertain coming to Tallahassee to just be an offensive coordinator in name only, a titled offensive coordinator, but not really have any autonomy or a lot of power within the offense. Don't you think, Ira? Like the fact that these are the names that are out there. Brendan Marion, I can promise you, isn't going to come unless he gets to run his offense. So the fact that there's a chance it's Brendan Marion, a good chance maybe, whoever it could be, Norvell has swallowed his pride and his ego and said, you're coming to run whatever offense you want to run. I just want you here. To me, no matter if it ends up being Marion or somebody else, I think that's a really good sign that he's willing to rip the Band-Aid off completely and start over with somebody else running the offense.
Yeah, and just real quick, I always figured he would because when he came here, Kenny Dillingham was calling the plays for the first 2 years. And so I think it'll be somewhat similar. I don't think Mike Norvell is going to wipe his hands of the offense, no matter who he hired. That's why I didn't think he would hire somebody that's completely –
But Ira, if it's Brendan Marion, that's a different offense. Like they have – all offenses have pass plays and running plays, but they go very fast. They have some crazy alignments and formations. That's not just, hey, you get to call my offense. You know what I mean? He would be bringing in an offense.
No, I got you. I understand what you're saying. I guess my point is I didn't think he would bring somebody that he doesn't have a strong relationship with, that he wouldn't be able to participate in the process.
Right.
Where you're bringing in somebody like a Jimbo Fisher. When Jimbo Fisher came to Florida State, Bobby Bowden wasn't really still. I guess he might have pitched the idea of calling a reverse every once in a while, but for the most part,
right.
Jimbo brought in his offense. He let him do it. I do think there's a familiarity there where he at least will feel like he can have some input. But I think, man, for the best, I don't think Mike Norvell was the problem with this offense this year, but they have so many other problems that he needs to bring in somebody that can handle it so he can spend some time with these other issues, because the offense wasn't the only problem with this team.
Whether it's Marion or somebody else, though, right? Like,
yeah,
whoever comes in, we think is going to have a lot of control of that offense based on how this hiring process seems to be going.
Yes.
Yeah. This obviously, as you say, Corey, this is such an unprecedented stretch of bad football that we I think, when Brian Kelly kind of had to reboot things at Notre Dame, I think he brought Chip Long on, who he might not have had a pre-existing relationship with. But, when coaches are in these moments, when their backs are against the wall, I mean, it's safe, and it's not it's unfair almost to criticize them for not wanting to go outside the box, if you will, and go get somebody completely different. Because, I think to your point too, Ira, I think kind of underscores it, that I don't think Mike's offense is just some completely train wreck idea of a system. It's like, all right, let's bring in a guy with some fresh ideas, but off the same tree. Let's get a whole bunch of new players in here, and we should be okay to go. So that's the way it seems to be trending right now. Check out warchant.com for the latest.
And just real quick on that, for people that aren't on the website and haven't read the full report that Gene posted, we're not saying it's a done deal that's going to be Brennan Marion, that he is the leading candidate, but this could go different ways. He might have other options. He's been mentioned in maybe with some head coaching positions as well. So, we'll see where it goes, but that, as of the time we're recording that, it feels like that's the direction things are going.
Well said, Ira. Way to qualify that. All right, I want to play the soundbite here from John Papuchis from earlier in the week that I found quite interesting, and then get your guys' thoughts on it.
I'm very transparent with all recruits in terms of I'm not 100% sure where everything's going to go. But what I do know is we've kind of been through this once as this staff, having to be able to take something that wasn't where it wanted to be and get it to where you wanted it to go. And, we're going to do that again.
So, yeah, Corey, is this a rinse and repeat of what they did in 2021, I guess, to a certain degree, but more so what they did in 2022? Just, hey, we've done it before. We just got to go get some new guys. We'll be all right.
Well, sort of, except, what they took over wasn't their own mess. This is their own mess. This is the mess they created. So it would maybe give players some pause. You could look at it both ways. It could give some transfer portal players or some coaches or some high school recruits pause that, okay, they can't get this back. But then again, there's other guys that might be, well, they did do it before. They went from 3-6 and lose it. They went from 3-10 to 10-3. They went 3-10 in their first 13 games. Went 10-3 in their next. I mean, would they go 23-3 over their next 26? So they've proven they can get it right, and they know how to fix things. It's just, I think Florida State fans might be like, okay, man, but quit doing this. Like, this is your own mess. This isn't Willie's mess or Jimbo's mess. This is all on y'all. And so why would we trust that the guy that created this mess would then fix it? It's easier to fix other people's messes than your own, typically. But they do have proof that they've done it before. So, it's not impossible.
And it's recent proof, I guess, Ira, right?
Yeah.
We saw this from Bobby Bowden, I think, after the 04 season, where he's like, listen, I know it's wrong. I'll fix it. He goes and brings in Mark McHale. That really wasn't the fix, but it'd been so far removed from him building his empire. This was only like a year or two ago that, Mike Norvell and company had to do this. Will it be easier? Is it, more plausible for them to be able to fix this thing and climb back because it happened in such recent memory?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's in both situations, John Papuchis and Bobby Bowden. And I don't know how many times they've been mentioned in the same sentence.
A lot.
But we just did it right here. But I think it's the convenient thing to say. It's the easiest thing you can say to maybe try to alleviate some concerns, whether it's to the media or to the fans or to recruits, as I think he was being asked. And, at the end of the day, it's going to be definitely harder. I agree with Corey 100%. I think you agree as well, Aslan. It's much harder when people know that you are responsible for what just went wrong. Now, where I do think they have a chance to do this, a chance to fix this, is it is going to be a hard reset. You're firing both coordinators, a bunch of other people in the program. You're probably going to be running off a lot of players. A lot of other players are going to leave on their own. So it's going to be a very different vibe, a different feel in that locker room going into next spring. And so that gives you a chance, especially if you have a freaking quarterback. If you have a quarterback who can play and the kids believe in, that can change mindsets. It can change the whole complexion of the program. So I think it's possible. But as for right now, yeah, I think it's just words, just like it was, Coach Bowden back 30 years ago.
Perfect segue as we wrap up segment one and look ahead to what's coming up on the next segment here on the Warchant Report powered by Cummins. Quarterbacks. Just how crucial of a game is the Charleston Southern tilt going to be for the futures of Brock Glenn and Luke Kromenhoek when it comes to leading the Florida State program? We'll discuss that and more next, right here on the Warchant Report powered by Cummins. Readying for a rebuild? Whether it's one of the top brands in college athletics or your adventurous spirit, we all need a recharge from time to time. So trust Cummins, the brand that's been a global power leader for over 100 years. Featuring the Onin line of portable power generators and power stations, tackle any project in your own climb to the top. Follow Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram to see the latest builds from the Cummins team and to get inspiration for your next outing. And get your questions into the Renegade Express mailbag. Be the one that's generating discussion to earn entry into the December grand prize drawing for a portable generator or power station from Cummins. Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give it a follow. Welcome back. It is the Warchant Report. It is powered by Cummins. Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give it a follow. Do it in front of me when you're at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Friday during the meet and greet. I think I just made myself have to be at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill from 5 to 6 o'clock now, Corey Clark, for your happy hour meet and greet with you and Jeff Cameron, 2475 Appalachia Parkway on Friday. Come hang out. Get ready for the Charleston Southern game. That's obviously a 1:30 kickoff, ACC Network Extra. You just got to have like the ESPN app, everybody. Then you don't need ESPN Plus. You just need like a cable subscription, ESPN app. 1:30, that game's going down. Pre-game show, 9 o'clock in the morning. Jeff Cameron and Tom Lane getting you ready for it. Warchant Game Day. They'll be doing a meet and greet from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Hotel Indigo. And as always, post-game show, 10 to 15 minutes afterwards with Tom and Gene, as well as the Vitamin Energy Warchant Wrap. Can you dig it? All right, so usually this is a part of the show, guys, where we toss the mat and he speaks to a reporter on the beat that's covering the opponent. But it's Charleston Southern. Did want to get some background, and what better way than in the own words of their head coach, Gabe Giardina, cut up, I thought, maybe the more interesting sound bites from his weekly press conference earlier in the week. Check it out.
Man, we've lost 5 games by 5 points or less. It's a play here, it's a decision there, it's a bounce here, it's a kick. Don't look at their record. That doesn't matter. They're well coached. They got good players. They've had 2 weeks off. It's homecoming, and they got a big one after us. And I know they're going to try to create some positive momentum going into that game. So, because that's what I would do. And it feels like I told them this is a bit like a bowl game here. Go get to play in a big stadium on a big stage. I know, be excited to do that. I know our team deeply loves each other, and so we'll respond the right way there. We had the lead against SEMO. I know it's in the first half. We had the lead against UT Martin. I think those are the 2 best teams in our conference. It's 2 kicks on the last play of the game. Tennessee State, they go 2-minute last drive of the game. We have a 4th down. We get them stopped, and we have a pass interference that is unfortunate. And our guys just it was kind of like guys throwing a prayer, and we bumped a guy, but was it catchable? I don't know. We did not turn the ball over last game against Eastern Illinois, and I think that was huge for us. It's the second time all season, which is not good, but hey, it was a really positive step in the right direction.
This Saturday, can't you just let it all hang out? I mean, nobody in the world expects Charleston Southern to beat Florida State.
I think you can play free. You know what I'm saying?
Just
you
go
take
out.
a little stress out of it, right? I think. Hey, just cut it loose, and it's us against the world, right? And that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Those are fun environments to be in, you know what I'm saying? Hey, my back's against the wall, and we got to come out and be able to do something, right?
So, yeah, the Buccaneers treating this like a bowl game. They're dialing their focus, even despite coming off a heartbreaking loss last week. Ira, can you paint the picture really quick of what happened to the Buccaneers last week against Eastern Illinois?
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for them. So they went for it on 4th and 1. Is that correct?
In overtime.
In overtime. And they got the ball first, went for it on 4th and 1. They didn't get it. They get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Their opponent gets the ball. They run 3 plays. They end up on 4th and short. They kick the field goal. They try to kick the field goal. The center snap soars over the holder's head. So Charleston Southern's got new life. They may get their second win of the season. Kid picks it up, runs it in for a touchdown. Charleston Southern's got to be celebrating like they finally won the Super Bowl, but they got called back because their dude kicked it to himself. He tried a kick save, so they ruled he wasn't able to do it. Then they got to kick the field goal, and Charleston Southern lost the game. So unfortunate.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of titans, everybody, on Saturday.
Yeah.
But one thing to really continue to watch, and we've talked about it for the last few weeks when there hasn't been a lot to really look forward to on these games, Ira, is the quarterback play. It just feels like you're not going to get a better matchup. You haven't had a better matchup all season long. You're not going to have a better one next week when you line up against Florida. So this feels like kind of a last shot, a last ditch tryout, if you will, almost to be, if you're Brock Glenn or Luke Kromenhoek, to be like, I can be the guy that's going to lead this program moving forward. Is Saturday a make or break moment, possibly for Luke or Brock?
I don't know if it's make or break for their careers, but I think it would just be good for them to show that they're not broken by what's happened over the last 6 weeks. Again, I think that, they've had to run for their lives at times because the pass protection has not been very good. They've had to force some passes because the receivers are not getting open. So there's a lot of things beyond their control. But even when things have been there, possibly like maybe receivers streaking wide open in the secondary, they haven't seen them because they're imagining a rush is there that's not even there yet. They're just nothing functions in this offense right now. So it would be great for them to have an opportunity where they don't feel like they've got defensive linemen breathing down their neck. Maybe they can actually scan the field, make some decisions, make some accurate passes. We see them in practice. There are times in practice they look pretty good. I think Brock Glenn probably had one of his better weeks this past week. You'd like to see that just show up on the field on a Saturday, other than at the end of the game when the other team's just dropping back and letting move the ball. So that would be great. But at the end of the day, I don't know if it makes or breaks anything because I don't know that you can base anything what's happened in these last 6 weeks to decide what you're going to do going into 2025. I don't know how, no matter how, even if one of them throws for 400 yards Saturday, I don't know how you can feel like, okay, this is our guy for 2025.
Is any of that apples to, I don't know, is any of it like limes to lemons, Corey, to where if they do play well against Charleston Southern, because you're going to be able to probably have a nice matchup up front, you can kind of see in your mind's eye, all right, listen, if I can replenish the roster, get these guys some better offensive linemen, a couple playmakers, a wide receiver, this guy can be my guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice litmus test in the sense that, you hope you reshuffle this roster to the point that in a lot of games next year, you will have an advantage up front. I mean, heaven forbid Florida State has an advantage up front, but there is a chance you could replenish the roster. You could have good players out wide. This is the one time this season, and no disrespect to Charleston Southern because they have a pretty decent defense, especially for that level, and especially how bad their offense is. And Florida State has the worst offense in the country. So it's not like this is an incredibly drastic matchup probably, but this is the time, right, Ira, that the wide receivers should have separation. You should win some one-on-one battles out there, and you should be protected. And if that's the case, let's see how these guys operate in that environment. Because, yeah, in that sense, this is a chance for them to show, okay, give me better players around me. Give me advantages, not even better players. You're going to need better players. But give me advantages that I can take advantage of, and let's see what that looks like. I think what Saturday represents to me is which one of these guys is in front of the other going into next year. Like, neither one of them is going to do well against Florida. Let's be honest. It'd be nice if just one of them played. One of them played well enough on Saturday to kind of eke ahead in the competition or streak ahead in the competition, and then they can just play Florida by themselves. If you really want to win that game, don't play two quarterbacks. Figure out who your best one is, and stick with them. But that's why I do think this game is important for one of these two guys. And let's be honest, one of these guys probably isn't going to be here next year. This is their best shot to impress in a stadium. So take advantage of it and play well. Look competent. That would be awesome. But I think the real competition isn't who's going to be the quarterback next year, who's going to be the quarterback against Florida. And then that gives you a chance to be the quarterback in 2025, in my opinion.
All right, then. 33.5 points. That's the spread, everybody. Will the Noles cover? Will we pick the upset of the year? Not the century, not even the decade, probably. Sadly. We're going to do all that next. It's the Warchant Report, powered by Cummins. Readying for a rebuild? Whether it's one of the top brands in college athletics or your adventurous spirit, we all need a recharge from time to time. So trust Cummins, the brand that's been a global power leader for over 100 years. Featuring the Onin line of portable power generators and power stations, tackle any project in your own climb to the top. Follow Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram to see the latest builds from the Cummins team and to get inspiration for your next outing. And get your questions into the Renegade Express mailbag. Be the one that's generating discussion to earn entry into the December grand prize drawing for a portable generator or power station from Cummins. Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give it a follow. Welcome back. It's the Warchant Report powered by Cummins. Cummins Lifestyle, all one word. Follow it on Instagram. Check out all the awesome things you can do with the Onin line of products. What to get for the person that has everything for the holiday season, you ask? I'm glad you did. Maybe a portable generator, maybe a portable power station. And when I say maybe, you got to figure out which one you want because either will be an absolute hit. I've got the power station. It's absolutely clutch. I kind of low-key want a portable generator. Maybe I can get my girlfriend to buy me one for Christmas. If she does, it's going to be a Cummins. Go to Cummins Lifestyle. Give it a follow on Instagram, everybody. Again, a reminder, 1:30 kickoff, ACC Network Extra, 1-9 Florida State, 1-10 Charleston Southern. There can only be one that will walk off the field with 2 wins. Check that out. Beforehand, pregame show, 9 o'clock in the morning. There will be a meet and greet 11 to 1 at Hotel Indigo. If you don't feel like waiting that long to hang out with Jeff Cameron, you can come out to the meet and greet over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 5 o'clock on Friday with Corey and Jeff. That's awesome. And obviously, again, post-game show, Warchant Wrap. We got you covered. All right, with all that said, you want to know picks, you want to know predictions. We've got them all. Let's start with the rest of the staff at warchant.com. There we go. Those were our staff's picks and predictions. Now it's our turn. Doak Campbell Stadium, 1:30. Again, I'm not sure the last time they played at 1:30 local time anywhere, but that's what's going down. ACC Network Extra. Florida State, a 33.5-point favorite. Irish O'Fell. Win number 2 on the horizon for the Noles. A cover on the horizon. How do you see Saturday shaking out?
Yes and yes, guys. Yes and yes. I like the Noles to win. And, yeah, man, I went back and forth on the score. I'm giving them I'm going Florida State 38-10.
Well, then they're not covering.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
You're right.
So yes and no.
Now I feel bad. I led people to believe that I had this great confidence because I kept going back on the score. I was going 38. I was going 45. I was going 38. I was going 45. I ended up settling on 38. And I'm only giving Charleston Southern 10 because their offense stinks also. And look, I mean, I'm bullish on the Randy Shannon era of this Florida State defense. It's 38-10, not going to cover, but I do think the Noles get the win. Sorry, guys.
What are you thinking, Corey Clark? I mean, it's Charleston Southern, but like, are they going to go up and down the field and score a touchdown on every other drive? I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think that, but I think they're going to get some first downs because who doesn't? They're going to pick up some third downs because who doesn't? And I assume they're going to try to make the game as short as possible. So you're going to see a lot of 6-minute, 50-yard drives. It's going to be a low-possession game, I think.
Wait, who are you talking about? Are you talking about Charleston Southern? Or
Charleston Southern, yeah. I think they're going to pick up.
They're going to have some 6-play, 50-yard drives.
6-minute.
6-minute drives,
buddy. It's an option. It's
Their
not
offense,
fun to cover.
It's
all granted. All granted, Ira, you're acting like it's last year or 2013.
No, just act like what did they score against any team that?
I'm not saying they're going to score a lot. I'm saying your defense doesn't ever get off the field, and I don't think it starts this week without a coordinator, after losing their coordinator. So,
I'm going to make you apologize to Randy Shannon.
And against an option offense. So anyway, I think Charleston Southern scores 13. I think they kick 2 field goals, or maybe 2 touchdowns, miss an extra point, go for 2. And the Noles win 34-13, but they don't put the game away until late third, early fourth quarter. Because who could ever trust this offense to just score against anyone? Now, you might throw a pick 6. It might be a game you might lose, folks. But I'm going to say 34-13. It's hard to imagine this offense scoring 34 points, but it is Charleston Southern, so let's hope we get to see it.
I just can't pick a number that has a field goal with it for Florida State because I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they'll kick a field goal at any point.
Man, they got to get Fitzgerald's numbers up.
They do.
If he's going to win any kind of awards or make any All-American list, he's got to kick more than 11 field goals.
Shout out. He's semifinalist for the Groza, joining our guy Mastromano as a semifinalist for the Ray Guy Award. I'm going to go 28-7. 28-7, the Noles.
So nobody picked in a cover on this show.
No, but we got some other picks we had earlier that have much more bullish thoughts with the Noles. All right, that's it. That's a wrap on this one. Thanks for being here, everybody. Don't forget, again, pregame show, 9 o'clock in the morning. Postgame show afterwards. Meet and greet after the pregame show, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Meet and greet before the game, the day before. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
What are we drinking during the wrap, Corey, if they get the win?
Oh.
Some Mad Dog?
Dos Equis for the second.
I assume vinegar.
Ooh, Dos Equis is.
Oh, we're gonna really celebrate. I thought we'd drink vinegar or like bacon grease or something.
Oh,
no, none of this is. We can't soil ourselves with this season. We're better than this. Florida State is better than this, but we know Warchant is better than this, so we're not going to get down in the mud and celebrate a win over Charleston Southern. I will say this. This is the next 2 Warchant reports we will do, folks. We should all feel better about the program maybe the one next year. But you get Florida. That's going to be a fun one, right? It's a big game, big name opponent. And then Alabama. So we go from Charleston Southern to the next 2 Warchant reports. We'll be talking about the Florida game and then the Alabama game. So things are looking up.
Hopefully our conference brethren someday.
Right, that's true.
That's another show for another day. Stay connected to warchant.com, everybody. Sorry for hitting the microphone like that. The latest on the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator searches, all going down at warchant.com. The amount of experience we have on staff between Gene Williams and Ira Schofel. Where else are you going to turn to, everybody? $1 for 1 week and then 50% off an annual membership. Go take advantage of it. No promo code necessary. For Ira and Corey, the rest of the staff over at warchant.com, thank you so much for watching this edition of the Warchant Report, powered by Cummins.